everyone, it's Ashley Jamerson coming to you from Ashley Lambert Realty. I am a professional real estate agent right here in the Charlotte area, and I really pride myself in being a knowledge broker. So with that in mind, I went through the YouTube comments and questions, and I pulled a few questions that seem to pop up frequently here lately, and I figured that since these people have questions, you may have questions as well. So let's get into it. So the very first question I have today is, are there down payment assistance programs for second-time home buyers? And the question is yes. It definitely depends on whether you still own the home and you're selling and you think you may not have enough money to make ends meet on the down payment on your upgrade, or if you owned a home in the past. Like let's say you owned a home 5 years ago and you've been renting, maybe you relocated to the area and you're renting, then you may be considered a first-time home buyer all over again, which makes sense because the market changes so much. But yes, there are down payment assistance programs out there for everyone. They definitely depend on your income, your debt to income ratios, your credit, and again, how long has it been since you have owned a home and what you're doing with that home. Like even if you have a home and you're renting it out and you're renting, maybe you own a home on the coast or in the mountains and you move to Charlotte. So long story short, I'll get you in touch with my preferred lender and he will go over all the details. And the one thing I love about my preferred lenders is that they do not leave any money on the table. So once they look at your exact situation, they will match you up with money that's out there. So this question has actually popped up a lot, especially since my recent breakup with NACA. And the question is, are there programs like NACA? Now, I'm going to say no because every single program out there is different. So North Carolina housing is different than House Charlotte, which is different from House Gastonia. So they're all different, but there's similarities. So NACA is a conventional loan with no down payment. Now, can you go out and get a conventional loan with no down payment? Yes. Are there programs out there with no private mortgage insurance or PMI? Yes. If you use my preferred lender, he will stack programs if necessary, and in that way, it will look and feel like NACA. Now, if you watch my other videos, you know that the interest rates are really awesome right now. When I got into real estate in 2006, the interest rates were terrible. And when I talk to people who have been in the game for a really long time, and they tell me their interest rates that they've seen and when they bought their first house, my mind is blown. So interest rates are really good right now. They've been floating between 3.5 and 3.73. Last Friday, it was 3.63. So still really good interest rates. Just like NACA, you can buy down your interest rates. NACA's made some changes recently where you have to live in the house for a certain amount of time. You know, their whole priority, non-priority thing. So yes, there are programs out there that can look and feel like NACA, and they can give you additional perks. The biggest perk is closing on time, protecting your money, and also being a fixed rate. So if that's something that you're interested in, let me know. Question number 3 is, do I assist with rent to own? And no, I don't. I guess the simple answer is no. I try to be very knowledgeable in what I do, and rent to own is honestly out of my realm of things that I know a lot about. And for me to help my clients with something, my biggest job, and I take that job very seriously, is protecting my clients' money. And I just don't see myself ever picking up that skill set because there's so many variables that can be involved. So the next question I have is, which True Homes neighborhood has the lots and what's the price? And those are things that I typically do not put in my videos, location of lots and prices, because it changes. It can literally change overnight. It can change by the end of the day. So they're not going to notify me when there's a price change, and I don't really want to be held accountable. However, if you are pre-qualified, pre-approved, then at least I know what model homes or what floor plans are available in different areas and what each elevation level consists of, and where you can find things like the Columbia. If somebody says, I want the Columbia floor plan, I have a really good idea that A, it's D.R. Horton, and I can find it. I know which neighborhoods to look in and the price range of each neighborhood, because it changes. Like a neighborhood in Concord is different than a neighborhood in South Charlotte. The finishes are going to be different, the lot sizes, things like that. So that's the things that I remember. Again, I'm not really ever going to post exactly where the lots are at, but if you are interested in something that I mention or a neighborhood that I post, and if you look at the date of the video and it's sort of kind of around that time period, definitely reach out to me. All my contact information is below and I'll be able to better help you. But just putting what's the price on a video that I posted 2-3 months ago, A, it's probably not available, more than likely not available anymore because we are in a seller's market. And B, they may have had a price increase. A lot of builders increase their prices as they go along every month, sometimes every quarter, sometimes every street may be a different price. So long story short, I'll never post the prices of houses because it changes. Question number 5 I received is, are you a dual agent? So here in North Carolina, we are allowed to be a dual agent. And what that means is I went out and I got a listing on a house and I'm marketing it as my listing. I am representing the seller. I have the seller's best interest in mind. And then I work with buyers as well. And the buyer fell in love with my listing. In that situation, I would be considered a dual agent. Have I done it before? Yes. Was it difficult? Not really, because you really have to mentally prepare the seller beforehand. Like, I bring buyers, I try to sell my listings. I don't just put listings on the market or on YouTube and just pray that they sell. I try to actively find buyers for my listing because I know they're approved and I know their motivations and things like that. But that's a good thing to know, is I know the buyer's motivations. So I can't tell the seller the motivations, and I can't tell the buyer the reason why the seller is selling the home. So dual agency is a little bit kooky, but the thing to keep in mind is that everyone gets respect. Everyone gets the confidence of knowing that I represent their best interest. And if it happens to come together in a happy medium, then we make it work. And I don't really tell the seller the buyer's business or the buyer the seller's business, but I do share material fact, and that's just huge. I remember I went on a listing appointment, which was the neighbor of one of my other listings, and they invited me into their home, and they were telling me all of the things that was wrong with their home, which is totally cool, and then went on to tell me how they were going to cover those issues up, like termites. You have to treat termites. You don't cover up termites. Termites are terrible. So I basically told him, like, A, I cannot take your listing because having termites is a material fact, and any buyer, any buyer's agent, even if you put no disclosure or you put no representation or you even check no on the seller disclosure form, I have to let the buyer and the buyer's agent know, whether they're my client or someone else's, that yes, there's termites. So yes, I'm a dual agent, and I haven't had any problems with it in the past. And because I own the firm that I work for, all of my agents, since you're hiring the firm, would, if it was my listing and one of my agents had a buyer, it would still be a dual agency. So long story short, yes, I do dual agency. Last question / statement is, I wish you were in Raleigh, and I wish you were in Greensboro, and I also got, I wish you were in Fort Mill. If you've been watching my videos long enough, you should know that I really pride myself in being a broker of knowledge. And even though I used to live in Greensboro, I don't really know the logistics of Greensboro anymore because it's changed so much. So I have partnered up with some realtors in Greensboro. So if you want to purchase a home in Greensboro and you like the way I do things, the agents that I've partnered with basically do things the way I do them, and I trust them with like my best friend. Raleigh, the same thing. I don't do real estate in Raleigh, but I have real estate partners that I know in Raleigh, as well as Fort Mill, South Carolina. I'm not even licensed in South Carolina, but I do know some awesome realtors down there. So if you like the way I do things and you want to connect with someone like me, let me know and I'll connect you with some awesome realtors. So I hope you liked today's video. Very quick, very informal. If you have any questions, just leave them in my comments and I will include them in the next video like this. In the meantime, all of my contact information is below. You can start your home search at search704.com. You can get an instant valuation of your home. Instant. You don't even have to talk to me. If you go to ashleysellmyhouse.com, again, that link is below, and direct access to my calendar. You guys, like me being a little bit type A, for me to give you direct access to my calendar is pretty huge. But if you want to sit down face to face and have a buyer consultation and get your questions answered, all of that is below as well. And as always, like, share this video with a friend, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.